Hey, good morning, everyone. Well, we get started. MT Live today, 12 o'clock. Be another good one. Everybody loves candlesticks, and we will be discussing them. Won't be your typical, you know, Harami or dark cloud covers or any of that kind of stuff. So, all right. Oh, you like that picture? All right. Okay, let's get going. So yesterday, I was speculating that strong close could be a precursor to some type of corrective price action. And certainly yesterday was nothing of significance. It was just a stall day. And do I have the screen up there? I do. So, little selling, it happens. Still in an uptrend. There's well, here's our minor support. There's an unfilled gap over here. So you want to be aware of those areas in intraday to see if they get filled as a heads up that might be where prices stabilize and turn back up again if they should get down there. It's an obvious place, and it's a relatively large gap from there to there compared to the other little gaps on the way up. But a little bit of a distance from the 20 and the 50, of course. And whatever's going to happen, everyone knows, right? They're going to cut. Right? Will there be a surprise? Well, we'll all find out together. And the consensus is overwhelming that they're going to cut, and they better cut. What he's going to say after that, has he changed his tone during his speech? And we'll all be listening for that. But as of right now, prices are down a little bit, not much at all. So you can see the 65-minute there is still in an uptrend. So where it's beginning to make a lower high and lower low, it's well above this significant support area down there. So sometimes things kind of stair step down a little bit into a support area and they stabilize and flip back up. So initially, I'm speculating, today, this morning anyway, before the meeting, prices will probably gyrate somewhere between there. Um, there's some oil number coming out at 10:30. I don't think that's going to move things much because I think everybody's just fixated on confirmation of that cut. And will they surprise anybody by doing a half? Not many think that, or God forbid they do nothing. Right? Then you better make sure your stops are in. All right. So look at interest rates. They're doing here this morning absolutely nothing. Sitting there. The 13-week is moving lower, which makes you think, could they possibly do a half? I suppose anything's possible. It's just interesting that they continue to move lower. Maybe that's just an anticipation of the next quarter point after this one, but there's a strong belief that they're going to continue to cut after what they do today. And well, gold is giving back a little here, not a big deal. However, and so yesterday we talked about this little tight consolidation, which was bullish, after a run up. So, and you see, I put the alert there from yesterday. When you get a range expansion bar, you move your stops or you move an alert up to that area. And so if prices were to come back down here, whatever you want to call it, it would be a short-term bearish event because without a protractor or a Fibonacci measurement or an Elliott wave count, the retracement from here and back down again would form some type of a bearish pattern and would signal that sellers took control for the moment. And we would just see where we go from there. And so right now, it's in the upper half of the wide range bar, and that's bullish. And silver, that gave back some yesterday. But if you look at SLV, there's more, which is, the ETF, which is, it was in our letter. We decided to cut some loose, but, getting a little extended there, gapping up, some profit taking. You can see the weekly is extended, but still strong. The transports, not really helping us to give us any real clues. It's just chopping back and forth there. So not much going on. I did notice this ETF. So this has more stocks in it than the transportation index. I think the number is 50, and the transports, as you know, is 20. But this is a better pattern. So something in here, and you can look in the stocks that are in there, but something in here must look somewhat interesting. And what's interesting about this pattern is that it had gapped down, just flipping back and forth. It breaks the low, and you get a nice size green bar up. And now we've got what I call a correction bar. It went sideways, and it broke the low of those two bars and came up. And if it can get above here, it suggests it's going to go higher. Now, this isn't, where we start putting together all different attributes of what makes, an A plus pattern. This isn't it. But this part of the pattern is attractive. You just remember what I pointed out with something like this and put it in the context of something maybe that didn't have a wide range bar that came all the way back down to major support. I like this part of the pattern, but it's certainly one, because of the way it came down, that could give you a whipsaw. Now, nobody knows what it's going to do, but we always look at what's to the left and put the current price action in context of that, come to a conclusion as to, hey, this pattern is significantly better than another, where we weigh out the different, what makes up that pattern as to what really makes something an A plus pattern or not. All right, the Dow continues to do nothing. It was just a gyration. I was thinking yesterday, if you remember from the conversation, was about rotation, where maybe prices would rotate. And, to a certain extent, the Dow and the Russell did outperform. But I was thinking, just based on this being in an uptrend coming down, maybe it could get an all-out bottoming tail bar. And that didn't happen. It held up okay, but came down to this minor support point right there, and nothing just happened yesterday. And the Russell, well, that took a dive early and came back. So it did outperform, but just couldn't get going. It did form a bottoming tail bar, at the bottom part of wide range bar, which is never a good thing when they retrace all the way back down to a wide range bar, similar to what I was showing you on that gold. It's not exactly the same, but it's the same idea, where you have a bullish event and then prices give it all back versus continuing to go higher, or just a momentary stall. So it forms a little bit of a trading range. It's in an uptrend, rising 20, rising 50. Benefit of the doubt goes to the uptrend. But overall, you see where my cursor is through those bars. And it's not going anywhere over the last month, pretty much. All right. There's been a lot of that this year. It's like, since April, there's been some very nice moves, but long periods of doing nothing before the next advance, because there's so much uncertainty about China, tariffs, Ukraine, whatever. There's just always something. All right. We looked at gold, oil. I mentioned there's this oil number. A little bit of a break under the support there, and trying to inch its way back, but an upside whipsaw, a downside whipsaw. This is, a picture that no one, or the majority, no one in majority there is knowing what to do with this. So collecting data, speculating on whatever, but in the middle of the range. And I guess unless you sell credit spreads on something like this, there's nothing to do, or day trading. It's not a pattern that is attractive. Okay, let's look at, let's take a peek at the futures. But so you can see they're not doing anything here. It's just marking time, waiting for that announcement that everyone supposedly knows what's going to happen. Well, gold, I looked at gold, Hugo, unless I missed your comment. Gold is down a little bit, but not a big deal. It's still in an uptrend. Now, the NASDAQ futures have that picture of something that's going to pull back. You can see that it's stalled. It got rejected yesterday. That was the wide range bar closing near the high that we spoke about yesterday morning, with the idea that things would stall or start to correct within a day or so. And so that's what's happening. It's really not a big deal, but we go through our just factory work, as we call it, and mark off what's minor support, which is right there. And we've got a little area of congestion right in here. So if things start to pull back, this is the kind of pattern that buyers will be lurking below. So, of course, we're going to see what happens today. I mean, if the day ends with some outside big nasty red bar, or an outside great big green bar, it's going to add some additional information to what we're seeing here that we'll just have to figure out what it all means as it happens. Right now, things are just marking time, so maybe you want to sit on your hands for the most part until we see what's going on. Bitcoin looks like it's going to go higher. All right, we talked about this bottoming pattern. The red bar that flipped right back up again, and this little rounding bottom there. And so now it's just consolidating, and it's got room to go up. It's at this pivot, so we will see what it's going to do. But so far, it's going sideways at resistance, and that's a plus. But for the moment, just marking time. I don't think there's much more I can show you here other than looking at the SPX numbers. The dollar finally started to drop under this support, which was surprising that it held up as long as it did. That being said, it's still just chopping back and forth here, but it's, historically it does begin to pull back with this in 13-week beginning to come down as it has. And internals, which we haven't talked about for a while because they haven't told us anything in a while other than being neutral. And they're still neutral. I mean, look at the breadth. It's just right at zero. So if you look at something like this, and the takeaway would be there's probably not too many great setups out there, because, well, certain things are moving. It's not like throwing a dart when you see breadth just chopping back and forth like this. But the sentiment gauges tell us that most believe, as they should, that it's going to go higher because most things are in uptrends. But a lot of things have recovered. Right? So we looked at the software stocks. Oh, this is one of them. Look for the other one that recovered from the bottom, and this one also recovered. So overall, many more positives than negatives, and we'll see what today brings. We'll have to SPX hand it over to Dan. Let's see where the numbers are. This is on support, gapping down a little bit. So probably things are going to see how much they tighten up from yesterday. As usual, the outside strikes weren't touched. Open interest, just looking. Okay. 53. Well, that's interesting. A lot of bets down there that are expecting a crash. They'll probably lose all their money. I guess that's you just buying insurance. You figure you're going to lose all your money anyway. 64. Wow. I had to do a double take on that. That that's crazy. Makes me want to take a look at. I don't have the time right now, but my other platform to see if that's true. I mean, everyone else. So those of you that are looking at your quotes, uh, well, I guess news events like this create some crazy speculation. Hmm. They went in opposite directions. So expect volatility. That's what that says. Take your pick. I don't think it's going to either one, but anyway, all yours, Dan.
Good morning. I'm working up two laptops today because my big computer decided not to turn on today. So Alex just reminded me of Paul, Pall, Palladium. Um, we've been watching it, gapping down here. So ideally, he'll fill the gap and give us a reversal bar. Snap, bottoming pattern. It's actually up 4 green bars, so I don't know how much more it has left. But a no-brainer put spread, if there's any juice. MU just had an alarm. Alex, remember we were talking about different Climos yesterday? And I forget which one we were talking about. You were talking about one that was actually a 1, 2, 3. I like MU for a day trade, a short and a call spread. I so Greg, remind me, we got to yeah, tell me about it. But Don, I paid top dollar to get the very best equipment. And and it just doesn't turn on to this. So what did I do wrong? All right. So Greg, yeah, let's find that disclaimer. I should have done it pre-market if I was distracted about warning people, personal choice of how to get situated into the news event. Raul asking about, yeah, Raul Triple V, it's on my list. We already are in it. Was today Wednesday? So we got in on Monday. But yeah, I have it right here to go over. It's a beautiful, beautiful new setup or an ad also. Thomas AAL short. No, it's down 3 bars with a bottoming tail at the 50. Don't like that at all. Here's another good one, Raul. Look at ESC. They're almost identical. You see it? It's just this one's a little farther from the 20. I mean, look how similar those two are. Extremely similar. So I like it. We're in both, but I like them. All right, on my laptop I had to go and put all new alarms in because I don't have them on my big computer. So I really don't have any alarms to go off here. Um, Dash I like as a put spread over yesterday's high. Pelletier is another 1, 2, 3 that looks great. Buy set of reversal weekly, price void. And it's gapping down, so that's actually fine. Because it's going to make it harder to trigger. MTZ, it's a sloppy bull rectangle. It's at this prior high. I mean, it looks like it's gapping to 196. If so, you need a pullback. But yeah, if it opens flat, it's a watch, but it's not one that I would do into the head. These are just a couple earnings here, not much. This thing's gapping down. So this could be a day trade scalp short, but I don't like the 15-minute support. I'm not going to do anything with that. GS 48 gap breakdown. Come back to it. Manu. Oh, Manu was down. Now it's struggling back. It's a bottoming pattern. I just don't know how much upside. You had a bear 1, 2, 3 on the weekly. So we can find better. So nothing in the earnings front. HCC I posted. Got this from what's the name? Roger Dodger. Inverse head and shoulder, left shoulder, downside shakeout, right shoulder. There's some neckline. Bullish weekly. That looks good. Oh, AMR is another one that's on our list. We're in a half lot. You can buy the back half over yesterday's high. BMNR, we entered a half lot yesterday. And I also gave it as a put spread, but put spread did not get filled. Work days, big old gap up with Elliott Management saying they took a stake. I mean, these things this just blows my mind. You all heard me say that so many times. Not a single thing fundamentally has changed. And some dude says he's been accumulating shares and it gaps up $20. Laser. Again, it's not a good 1, 2, 3 because it's up 3 bars and it had a big range yesterday. I just think it's sloppy. We can find better. Some news. China's ordering some of its companies not to buy NVIDIA chips. We mentioned this as a call spread idea. Still is a call spread idea. I'm just not jumping in front of the news. But so Baba got a big old order from, I think, China Telecom. I remember these earnings gaps here. And I remember talking about even K-Web being a core. And just, we're afraid of China gaps. Baidu, look at that rocket. Wow, that one's gapping up $10. That's a call spread. It's a call spread idea. 30-minute low. JD is a bull rectangle continuation pattern, but it's up a lot. PDD gapping, no pattern. NFE gapping, no pattern. Rick, poor Sam. Sam's a major investor in Rick's Hospitality, and they got in trouble for tax evasion. So then, I'm pretty sure the news must have come out yesterday. Stub is IPO coming out today. Kovu needs to stabilize. It is a closing breakout from a 180, but you got tails on both sides. PGRE was up pre-market, now down. That's a big mess. Oh, that's Paramount Group. So maybe, there's some news buyout rumors and things. Y'all remember this stock ASTI? If you go back on your 15-minute chart on this gap day, no, wrong one. Wrong one. Table that. It's a different symbol. I'll come back to. All right, this thing blasted up and now it's coming back to earth. It's too sloppy. Look at Intel. It's actually holding here. Daily, weekly, monthly. All right, so that other stock I was thinking about, this one, CWD. This was a day pre-market. If you go, but they scroll back on your 15-minute chart, I'm not going to do it. It gave an amazing day trade short Climo. So that's real. But the Climo came from the pre-market rally, pre-market chart. But it's perking here today for some reason. We'll see if it can simmer down. And remember we were talking about pro gaps yesterday, Sam and Alex. This is a pro gap because that's a nasty downtrend, and look where it's gapping. So not only this totally breaking the back of the downtrend. If it fails immediately, then maybe in retrospect I'd say, okay, it's not a pro gap. But that's a very bullish gap. Triple V up alarm. We talked about already. Look, triple V looks fantastic. You can add 5-minute high. Dash. Dash is triggering on the put spread. Let me give you what I posted. And so this will be with 255. They're pretty darn spready here at the open. Very spready. 255. You know what? I can't get that. I can't get that. Let the spreads. Oh, Greg, I just saw your Oracle post. Hold on. Heddle. He is asking about a stock. Let me cancel this. Heddle's asking about Oracle. Let me put this triple V down here. There's just no pattern pedal to me. On Oracle, actually yesterday on the gap up, I said it could be a condor out of the money call spread, out of the money put spread. It might give you a 15-minute scalp. It's just going sideways here above the 20, but I'm not going to be aggressive here today. And then Delta 20. Yeah, Qualcomm is on my list. I have it over here somewhere. I'm not going to wing it ahead of the number, but it's on my list. And ideally, we get a 1, 2, 3 to trade it tomorrow. But yep, it's on it. Tim asking about uh, Kilo Charlie. It's a Polish gap. Hey, I like the weekly and monthly too. You need a big stop. So, because it's not a good entry. But I do like it. So if you want to start, it's a beautiful buy setup and multi-month term. So, there you have it. I like it. Just work your entry and you need to stop yesterday's low. Put it on the list. Triple. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's a 1, 2, 3. Getting extended on the weekly and monthly, but it's strong. Put it on the list. Pelletier Alex. Ours didn't trigger. So, I said with a gap and down, it's gonna be harder. I had AAP alarm. It's an early alarm, but don't like that retracement. Oh, maybe it is a real stop because I tightened it. Hold on. We took our money on our put spread on it yesterday. AAP 60. Yeah, we did. AAP. All right, we did stop out at a profit. Okay. All right, so that one's gone. I mean, and we sold a third, pretty darn near the day's high yesterday. 62. We're out at 63.40.
Yeah, and look at NVIDIA 175 if you're comfortable with that number. What do
Yeah,
you
I
see?
said pre-market I like it. My only concern is, do you want to do it ahead of the number?
I'm not going to do it at all. I'm just pointing out the pattern.
Right, and I said I liked it.
Okay.
Right, pre-market I like it.
Well, maybe it
Oh,
retraces up a little bit and you get above 175 by a quarter or something, or a half.
oh no, 175 I don't like at all. That's
Well,
that's a that's a gap fill.
that's
Has to
where
be
the premium
170.
is.
Has to be 177.50.
Well, you're not going to get that.
Yeah, no, once 175, a positive announcement today, and I could feel again, but it's bearish right now. RSP, it is a buy setup deeper trace hunt, so I'm not sure if it's, without good news from the Fed. I don't think it's gonna make a fluid new high. IT, I remember you mentioned that yesterday. It's more of a good spread to me. This kind of looks like a dog. Let's see if there's anything at 235. Too spreading. But I like the 15-minute chart. So yeah, you know what? I take that back for a day trade on IT. You can buy 15-minute high, stop 15-minute low. Yeah, I take it back because it's kind of a pseudo inverse head and shoulder on the 15. Yeah, I got this on my list here somewhere, or maybe I took it off the list yesterday. Uh, banks are going to move with interest rate policy. That's the bottoming pattern. Could have bought it yesterday over that little red tail from Friday. But it looks fine, Thomas. A nice 15-minute chart. You can just buy it right here, stop under 17. I think is plenty for a day trade entry. Triple V, it kind of, yeah, no, it did have a big run from this end of day rally, but looks great. And then this ESE I mentioned, that one you could buy 5-minute high, day or swing. Kansas City, I said you need a pullback, but let me check 16 pips on Kansas City. And I wouldn't mind going out to next week, but there's no weeklies and there's no 16s. So that idea is out the window. All right, Kava, stopping break even. BWXT. I had tightened the stop. I don't know if I posted it for you all. Let me give it to you now. And then I'll probably, yeah, let's do this. Move it to 30-minute low. Because I have a little gap here. FTV alarm. Don't remember that one. Ah, little. This has to be I'm probably gonna have some old alarms going off because I'm on my old Dell laptop, but that's a nice little bottoming pattern. Little buy setup after breakout, void, kind of. It's not a W bottom because it's not a fluid enough move, so therefore I just call it a bullish retest. With that FTV looks good. It's really good for day trade. And buy it here, stop low, swing trade. You gotta give it more room. $45 puts, 0 by $1. So I'm gonna put an offer out at 90. But nice little pattern. So MU, it's not ready. DLR, over, I would say, Thomas, you could do a third lot over yesterday and then 2/3 over Monday. But it's a bull rectangle. ELD, did I add? Nah, that one's too sloppy. It's too sloppy for me. I like DLR better. DLR is tighter. It's tighter bull rectangle than PLD. Let me go through opens here. AMR looking good. BMNR doing nothing. BTU. Nope, wrong symbol. BTU. We tighten the stop. Looks great. 1976. Hey, Sam, what does 1976 remind you of? Like, okay. Mm. Well, actually,